Thank you, Gilbert. Let's give him a round of applause. Thank you. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Good morning.
How's everyone doing today?
Excellent.
Fantastic.
Fantastic. I love it. Better than the weather. Oh, we have a little rain out there today over in Cleveland, and we've driven in through the rain today. It's cleansing the earth and watering all the plants. It's just a wonderful time. I went through a lot of rain back in 1968. I was overseas, and it rained for what? It seemed like a month. People talk about the monsoon; they don't know what you're talking about. But anyway, if you would just take a nice, even breath, put your feet flat on the floor as I do the invocation. Infinite Spirit, in whom we live, move, and have our being. It is all God, God the power, God the presence, God the activity. We just know that God is working in this service today. God is all power, all presence, and all activity through each and every person that has anything to do with this. And Gilbert has given us a wonderful, wonderful, great kickoff to this today. We know that we are blessed. I'm blessed. Reverend June is blessed as she brings our message today. Our ushers and greeters are blessed. Our Zoom tech. The ones that bring us our snack after service for those that are here locally in the auditorium and in the sanctuary. And we just know that all things in this service today is blessed. And we just give thanks. And if you're in agreement with me, you can say with me, and so it is. And so I let it be. Amen. And amen and amen. How's everybody doing today?
Fantastic.
Wonderful.
Awesome.
So this weekend we're going to be talking about the flag. We're going to be talking about 4th of July. And you know, when my daughter was in this weekend from Seattle, my other daughter was off the ship this weekend, and my other daughter is well, she's working back to working again, the one that had the problem with the vision. So I had a wonderful weekend to spend with my kids. And
Blessings.
Thank you. And this coming weekend now we're going to be talking about the 4th of July. Anyway, I started off thinking I was going to talk about every holiday my kids knew that I was going to be barbecuing. I used to have 3 or 4 slabs on. They would ask Daddy, what time can we come back? And my daughter that goes on the ships, she's a vegetarian. But if our daddy was cooking ribs, vegetarian was off for a day. So she just had a wonderful time. So anyway, I just want to congratulate everyone on this wonderful weekend and know that this is the birthday of our country. July 4th is coming up, just 2 days from now. And it's just a wonderful time to think about it. Our affirmation for today is, I align with true power and let her rip. All right. Let's say that again. I align with true power and let her rip. All right. The monthly theme summary is, this is a reboot of the phrase, speaking truth to power. Spirit is the only power. Ooh, let's say that again. This is a reboot of the phrase speaking truth to power. Spirit is the only power. And don't y'all forget it. What people really mean when using this phrase is speaking to control or circumstances. Circumstances are never the truth. So we begin by looking them in the face as the monsters they seem. But like in the movie of the same name, they are not what they seem. Next, we look at how we have accepted the media and cultural conditioning, hypnotized, so we can feel ourselves from reaction to authentic action. In the third week, we remember and stand in truth, as Shiva did, by throwing himself under the blood-crazed Kali to bring her back to center. Finally, we look at what being an authentic, spirit-centered, spiritual warrior means. For the fifth week, we'll take a little side trip and listen to the Standing Stones. Here's a science of mind point of view. Despite appearances, nothing is greater than the infinite presence. I just want to thank Reverend June. She always gives me the best ones. Despite appearances, nothing is greater than the infinite presence. This presence in and through each and every one of us. One alone in consciousness with the infinite constitute a complete majority. One alone in consciousness with the infinite constitutes a complete majority. When we attempt to fight outside circumstances, we only give those circumstances power in our mind. The practitioner does not fight evil. They know there is no evil. The practitioner does not fight evil. They know there is no evil. When we engage in fighting with the outer, we are caught up in a belief in separation and have lost faith in the infinite oneness. This does not mean that we sit in our prayer chairs and do nothing. It means we gain a high perspective so we can be most effective in our actions. Intuitively, we sense that every man in his native state is some part or manifestation of this eternal principle, and that the entire problem of limitation, evil, suffering, and uncertainty is the result of ignorance. And this is taken from Science of Mind, page 32. And now I'm just excited to hear this message this morning, because this is a prelude, and this has been one heck of a prelude to it. So we bring forth to you Reverend June Clark, and she's going to talk about the manifestation of the eternal principle is limitation, evil, suffering, and uncertainty. Reverend June.
Well, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
I hear from my sister that it's 101 in Hemet. And so I said, well, I guess the rain ain't so bad. A little bit of rain and a little 70s and low 80s is just perfect for us. So good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
As Jerry so warmly brought us in this morning, I'm speaking my, what did he say it was? Salute to the 4th of July by my dress, my red, white, and blue. And I believe I put it on more for, how should I put it? Let's get that set of people who decide that our laws are not for everybody in this country. I mean, I know they were written a long time ago, and some of them need a little fixing, but I think that we got some prayer work to do.
Amen.
So amen on that subject. So, moving right along. You don't need to go any further than the science of mind point of view this morning. And in reading, thinking, researching, what do I do, how do I do it, what do I speak to, I decided that we are ignorant. And I love this focus, the result of ignorance. So that's what I'm going to work through this morning, is starting on, Jerry read it so well. So I hope you have a pencil and a piece of paper, because I want you to go back and reread some of these thoughts that came up for me, and just read them for yourself. And there are other references in the textbook to these words, especially to the word ignorance. And let's just think about what's really going on as individuals. Because I know when I speak, and I work through getting a talk for you, but within that you is me. So I'm speaking my own truth through myself to you, and I want you to accept what is your truth through me, through your own thoughts, through Holmes, and any other reference you can find. And that's the truth for every Sunday, for a message. So let's see, where does this start here? I'm going to start in the middle of the science of mind point of view, and it's down into the line. I'll just read it. It means we first gain a high perspective so we can be most effective in our actions. And all of this pertains to the word ignorance. And, oh my goodness, what am I ignorant about? So many things, just day-to-day things. So I am accepting the fact that being ignorant in many things allows me the chance to learn more and to grow more and to be within the principles which I totally accept as my truth, to gain more and more information, more and more enlightenment. So we're going to start on page 47, and it is the third point on page 47. Let's see. I think that's the only one I didn't mark this morning, so just a second. Okay. Treatment active, not passive. I'm sorry. Oh, 474. As soon as I read that, I said, that has nothing to do with what's on your mind right now. Knew that right away. So, excuse my error this morning. Okay, I do have it marked. Okay. So, intuitively, is this where this? I got so many references here, I have to keep track. Sorry. Intuitively, we sense that every man in his native state is some part or manifestation of this eternal principle. Eternal principle is capitalized. which means God. Intuitively, we sense that every man in his native state is some part or manifestation of this eternal principle, and that the entire problem of limitation, evil, suffering, and uncertainty is the result of ignorance. So as I said, we're going to start with 474, second paragraph. And so that part of us which can be fooled eats of the fruit of dual experience, and doing so, and in so doing reveals in its own nakedness, being bare, being open, being uncovered. So we begin to see that we are, like the emperor has no clothes, if you remember that fairy tale story. The emperor is so preoccupied with his self-awareness of who he is, he has no clothes, but he thinks his garments are of gold and silver and whatever else, and he goes out and gets in the parade, but he's totally naked. And who sees the nakedness is the spectators. But being the king, he can't see anything other than what he projects onto himself. Can't even see his own nakedness. The native state of man is one of purity, peace, and perfection, and is only when we compare these with impurity, distress, and imperfection that we are revealed as naked. If we are not living according to, for us that are within the sound of my voice, literally, if we are not living the principles of science of mind, we're the emperor with no clothes. I know what my principles I prefer to live within. Am I perfect every second of every day, of every minute, of every breath I take? No. But do I know when I'm out of step and out of bounds? No. But am I aware enough and steeped enough in the principles that I believe in, and that I assist myself through prayer, through having a practitioner, to reading and examining my life? Do I move myself through this life with grace and ease? The best I can. Emerson tells us that virtue does not know it is virtuous. Virtue does not know it is virtuous. Does it have to? Does it have to be told all the time? Don't think so. If you're living it, if you're doing it, it's not a stretch. It's not working at it. It's just doing and being the best that you can be within the guidelines of your human experience and the spiritual principles that you live by. It is only when virtue tastes of impurities that it becomes naked and must hide from itself. When I recognize that I'm out of step with how I conduct myself, whether it be how I eat, whether it be how I dress, whether it be how I interact with someone that I know, someone that I don't know, it's all up to me. If I have the guidance if I have the wisdom to be aware of myself at all times, do I see that, maybe I better put on some clothes, I might be the emperor today. I check myself. Is that, again, mean that every single thing, every single breath I take, every single opinion that I have is absolutely perfect? I am perfect because I am a divine expression of God. But, yes, but, I haven't gotten there yet. Thank goodness. So when I see something that says, okay, step back, think about it, how does that feel for you? Not 10 million other people, not one other person. How does that feel for me? Where am I in all of this? My native state. Check on your native state and see how things are feeling for you. Where do you feel? In your gut, in your headache, in your whatever. See how your native state is coming along. Is it drifting? We always know we're perfect, but keep being aware of the ignorance factor within us. We just don't know everything yet. So we're going to move, where's my next one is, let's see, intuitively we sense that every man in his native state is some part of manifestation of this eternal principle. Eternal principle, God expressing itself. Not necessarily science of mind, not necessarily Buddhism, not necessarily Sikhism, not necessarily Judaism, not necessarily Baptist, not necessarily whatever religion or perspective of God that you can think of, but whatever one you choose to make that your belief, that is your eternal principle, make sure that you keep it fluffed up. Make sure that you shine it up every once in a while. Make sure you know what your eternal principle is for you and how it interacts with everyone that you're around. And that the entire problem of, we're going to take on limitation first, 1474. I'm going to go through each of these at the bottom of this reference here, and we're going to look at them. 1474. And that is limitation. Oh boy, does that cover a lot. In the textbook 1474, fourth paragraph, there is then no limitation outside our own ignorance. There's that word again. Outside our own ignorance. And since we can all conceive of a greater good than we have so far experienced, I like that we have so far experienced, we all have the ability to transcend, get over, what something Jerry said, it's up here. Let her rip. Let her rip. Move on. Seek ye something higher than who you are or how you are or what you currently believe. To transcend previous experiences and rise triumphant above them, but, this is in italics, we shall never triumph over them while we persist in going through the old mental reactions. the old mental reactions. What do you evaluate about your occurrences in your life? You're doing something, we're doing something new all the time. But is it new in and of its truth, or is it new based on, when I did this before, didn't turn out so good? Mental reactions. What do we carry around with us like it's some kind of badge of honor? Negative stuff. Crap. Why do we do it? And in that, we is me. Why revert to anything that was not in the field of our divine perfection? How many mistakes have I made, which at the time I just thought were so perfect and wonderful and awesome because I was naked and didn't know it, didn't have no clothes on. I was the emperor without the clothes, but I thought I was hot spadooty. And you can imagine, well, what is she talking about? What happened to her? What did she do? That's mine. That's mine to know, and I full well know what I'm talking about, what I'm thinking about. And I full well know that you each know that there's something that occurred in your life at some point in time that you'll probably never do again because it was not speaking truth to power, and it was not the best of your native state. Ignorance. There's that saying, you don't know what you don't know, and that's accurate. But why play around with, I know, but I'm going to act like I don't know? Why play around with that kind of living pattern? We're going to move on to evil. And that is on page 111, third paragraph. The age-long discussion of the problem of evil will never be answered until we realize that evil is not a thing of itself. It is simply, and this is in italics, a misuse of the law. Again, evil, turn it around and it's live. Live. Just turn the letters around. And there's some kind of word that in English class I did remember then that I don't remember now, that you can do with words and you can turn them around and they become something else. It is simply a misuse of freedom. And again, it's all within the me and the you, the us of who we are. It's a misuse. And if you understand that you did something to someone, to yourself, to a dog, to a cat, to your teacher in school, whatever, it was a misuse of that native state that we are. Do we always know that we are a divine expression of God? I can only personalize it. No. Nope. No, I don't. But a misuse of that thought Doesn't happen very often. And it is quickly shifted and changed because I do know what I know. And that is the principles of science of mind that I choose to live by. And combined in all those principles are Catholicism from birth, was baptized as a baby. Both parents were converts to Catholicism, so they were very in tune with having their children be baptized. So from birth, at whatever young age, was baptized. Came up all the way through high school, going to catechism. Did not go to Catholic school. Catholic. Then life shifted and changed, and supposed to have my children baptized Catholic. I say supposed because my husband was not Catholic, so he had to have a talk with the priest, and they had to agree to baptize his children Catholic because I was Catholic. That went along for, I think, the first 2 children, immediately baptized. Then, what was I doing? My native state shifted. And I got, I guess I lost a few garments off of that wonderful set of clothes I had, and got a few little naked spots, but I carried on. But I did eventually get the other 2 children baptized. Then, as I moved through life, grew up a little bit, as an adult, as a mother who went to college and started taking philosophy and existentialism and all those wonderful long word type classes, and we would sit around and pontificate on what the world ought to be and how it ought to be. I wasn't a hippie, but so he said close. But my, I keep losing it, native state shifted a bit. And then I did nothing. I did nothing. I did not go to church. I moved through a whole different lifestyle of being prestigious on this board that I was on for the Teachers Association, and I traveled and I ate well, and I had a credit card to take people to dinner. Wouldn't pay for drinks, but I'd pay for your dinner, and I was just all of that. That's, I think, when I got naked. I think I got naked. And I can say that God was not the primary source of my beingness. And then my husband died, my first husband died, and I was angrier than you know what. And I surely was naked at that time because I didn't believe in nothing. But those buts are good. Those buts are good. Have it be having a sister who was going to a religious science church and shifting and changing without my permission, without my understanding. See, don't know what you don't know. And for some reason, went to a religious science church, sat in the back row, and it was a female minister with red hair and a white robe, black woman. She could sing, and she could preach. Here I go. My native state shifted, and I had all this wonderful new garment on, and it's still on. But it encompasses all of every single, I guess, second in my life with whatever I did, whether I knew it was appropriate, whether I didn't know it was appropriate, whether I considered it good, whether I considered it medium, whatever I considered it to be. It's all who I am right now, and that is the truth of every single one of us. So I guess what I'm saying is, it is simply a misuse of the law of freedom. It's not to say that any of it was right, not to say that any of it was wrong. It is what it was. And I am who I am this second, and it's gone. There's another second, it's gone. There's a newness, there's an awareness. There's a way to accept who you are and to be. And if you live that principle, if you live the principles, if you are interested, if you are allowing science of mind to be your state of religiosity, if you want to call it that, whatever, however you want to explain it, be sure you live it to the highest and best for you, and do the highest and best for yourself. And therefore, the highest and the best always comes to others when they're around you. The problem of evil will be met only to the degree that we cease doing evil and do good. If there's anything, I don't care if it's eating peanut butter and jelly on, I hate rye bread, on rye bread, and I do it, it's stupidly wrong because I am not doing something that I enjoy. And that's a silly, small comparison to what I might do in my life that might not be appropriate for me to do. And I know it, and I do it. And I'm darn sure I know that it's going to show up somewhere in my life. Maybe not as soon as I swallow the sandwich and I taste it, I say, why did I do that? It's gonna come. It's gonna come. For evil will disappear when we no longer indulge in it, when the whole world sees the right and does it. Then and not until then will the problem of evil be solved for the entire race. I'm not talking about color, I'm not talking about heritage, I'm not talking about whatever culture you come from. The entire race means the entire world. So we have a big responsibility, because we know, if you believe in the same principles that I believe in, and we know what we can do through prayer, we're assisting the whole world to shift and change, just through our thinking, just through our thoughts. So next is suffering, and that's on page 412 in the first paragraph. All my markers are coming out. Okay. 412, the very first paragraph in the Science of Mind. If we believe in suffering, we shall suffer. Ha ha! Guess what? Whoa. Sometimes you think, where'd that come from? You know. Life responds to us in the way we approach it. We should choose that which we wish to embody, and by constant attention to it, take on all its characteristics. Seems like the negative stuff, it's like the grass is greener on the other side of the street, whatever, so we walk over to the other side of the street, and it's just because we were far away from it that it looked different. It's just the same. Why? And maybe I'm going to say something that's not true for you. Why does, when all seems to be perfect, why are we called to look for something that appears to be better? And that's okay. That's okay too. The best thing along with that is to realize, make a choice, whether it is better or whether you need to skedaddle back to where you were in mind and keep on going along that track. But if this track, because you're curious, because you want to know, because you want to grow, this is the path you're going to take. If that works, don't go back to what was. Take the other one. Something else comes up that changes that opinion. Be able to grow, be able to move, be able to trust, and do what is for your best and highest good. Let us choose to be identified with power, with love and beauty, with peace and happiness. Let us identify ourselves with abundance and with success. I'm going to bring in something I usually don't bring in. We need some more money. We need some more money right about this time, like today. If you were thinking about not tithing today, tithe, get it in the mail. Won't be put in this Sunday, but it'll be put in next Sunday. That fits perfectly. That's the truth. I'm not going to go any further than that. I made a statement, so that's the truth. Let's see, where are we? On 411, 412. On first, okay. Suffering. I don't like to suffer. I've had this knee thing going on since I fell, I don't know how many years ago, 6, 7 years ago, J.C. Penney's, and they waved a little check, and I mean little. And at the time, it looked big. I wish I had waited 18 years later, because this knee is giving me the blues. And the doctor says, well, we'll do the shots, we'll do this, or we'll have, you can have knee surgery. I don't want to be in the hospital again for nothing. I don't like to suffer. So what do? I hop. I have a cane that I am so vain that I haven't brought to church yet. But when I had other surgery, and our beloved Arnie would go with me when I had to get cases of water and big stuff, and he would go to the store with me, and he'd lift that and put it in the cart. And there was at Walmart, and there's this little cart over there on the side. And he said, Reverend June, try the cart. I got in the cart. I sailed around that store. Next time I went to Kmart, I looked over there and all the carts were gone. I was so mad. So, just do whatever you need to do. Don't suffer. Don't suffer.
Amen.
So,
Yes.
okay, we got an amen out of Jerry. So then we're going to uncertainty, which is on page 264, 5. All my little tabs have slipped out of the book. So, okay. 264, 5th paragraph. And it says, uncertainty. I contend with none, argue with none, and am filled with wonderful peace and light. How many times a day do we need to say that? You might want to make sure you jot this one down, because it's right there. It's in the first sentence of the 5th paragraph. I contend with none. This is a biggie. Argue with none, and am filled with wonderful peace and light. Oh, what a preference. Peace and light. Grace and ease. Ah, wonderful. There is no uncertainty about my future and no fear as a result of my past. I live in an eternal now, now is capitalized, which is filled with good alone. Goodness and beauty follow me. Peace and joy accompany me. Happiness and wholeness fill my entire being with the realization of love and perfection. And I speak those words to, it's a treatment for peace of mind. And if you read the whole treatment, is beautiful. And a beautiful soul made her transition day before yesterday. And I speak my words to her. And we just have to know that here we are. And why not be love and perfection? Happiness and wholeness fill my entire being with the realization of love and perfection. That's not a lot to ask for. At sometimes in our life, it is difficult to achieve, difficult to recognize, but that's who we are. That's what we want. That's how we want to exist. And we deserve it, and we are it. So let's take that on. So in reading this last sentence here, it means that we first gain a high perspective so we can be most effective in our actions. Intuitively, we sense that every man in his native state is some part of manifestation of this eternal principle, and that the entire problem of limitation, evil, suffering, and uncertainty is the result of ignorance. And we began the message today at this point, and on page 401, fourth paragraph, this is where we will close. If at times we doubt our ability to use the law, we should again remind ourselves that it is not I, but the Spirit of the Father in me who doeth the work. Yes. This will straighten our thought and place us again on the road of faith and understanding. And this is in capital letters. We must believe. We must learn how to believe. We should treat ourselves until we do believe. No one ever started at the top. Let us be happy to begin right now where we are and grow. And I'm going to play the song first before the reader comes up. This song is Lift Me Up. And it is sung by Rihanna. And I, to tell you the truth, I've never heard a song by her. I know obviously who she is. She's a very beautiful young woman, talented. And this song, as I researched it, is at the end of the, what's the name? The African movie that was made. Black Panther, yes. It's the second one. And this is at the end of it. And it was written by, or dedicated to the young man that that made his transition. And I think we need to be lifted up. I needed to be lifted up. And when I heard it, it's quiet, but she sings it so beautifully. So we're going to listen to that, and then our reader's going to come up. Okay, I'm going to, it's beautiful. I'll have Laverne do our reading, and then I'll do the treatment.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Blessings of the day. In the Torah, Moses, who performed amazing wonders, is called the meekest of men. In that usage, the meekest is one who puts his own doubts and fears aside to listen to Spirit. In doing so, he led the Israelites from captivity, and we're all in captivity when we let collective consciousness lead us around to true freedom. When we turn to the truth of the power within, we can speak truth to circumstances. In the movie Monsters Incorporated, the monsters turn out to be not really monsters, and in fact become helpful. The phrase speaking truth to power is often used to indicate a commitment to stand up to those we perceive as more powerful than us. In truth, no one is more or less powerful than us. We are all equally infinite in expression. What this phrase often addresses is control rather than power. We confuse power and control. Power is simply the ability to get things done. We hear phrases like power tends to corrupt. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. Yet, since the only real power in the universe is spirit, that phrase would imply a corrupt infinite, and that is not the truth. This story, like so many other hero's journey stories, shows the need of the hero, whether an individual or a group of people, to turn to and listen to that power within. And so it is. Thank you.
Yes. Let's turn within, accepting the truth of God. Our steps of treatment, recognition of God. God is, I am. Whatever positive word you want to use, if you need to describe, it fits. God is, I am. And being the truth that God is, I am, we are one with this magnificence, one with this glorious essence, one with this truth, one with this all-knowing, all-prosperous, all. There is only one. And in the enlightenment of who we are, in the trust, in the love, in the awareness of our oneness, speak your mind, speak your heart, speak your desire, recognize your desire, live your desire. Know that within the heart of God and within the heart that beats in your body, that there is only one thing, one essence, one truth that is going on. There's nowhere to go, nothing to look for. It is here. It is within us. It is us. Speak your word as to what it is that is you, that defines you, that supports you, that recognizes the wonderment of you. And I bless those who you may know who have made their transition recently, for we know that they are safe. They are no longer experiencing anything unlike the truth of God, which is pure joy, pure essence. And to those family members, we send peace and understanding and time to heal. And I truly give thanks for this awareness today, this moment, as I continue to grow, and knowing that the I of me is you, and you and I are one. Giving thanks, I simply release these words, the words that have been spoken, the thoughts that you have had, into the ethers, into the heart of God. And knowing that this is our truth, we simply say, and so it is. Amen and amen. Okay, so Jerry is here, and I'll let you.
Let's give Reverend June a round of applause. For those of you out on Zoom. Oh, what a message.
Yes, amen.
I align with the true power and let her rip. That's what Reverend June did today. I just want to bring your mind to the fact that we are still raffling off the African bronze Maasai woman figurine. And of course, this is to support our efforts on fundraising for our church. And it ends on Sunday, September 17th, which seems to be a long way off, but I always say that every time you blink your eyes, another month goes by. So I think I blinked mine 6 times this year already. So we're in July. So you get the raffle tickets. They are $5 a piece at the office out front. And of course, the more tickets you buy, the better chance you have of getting this beautiful, beautiful figurine. And on Thursdays, the Key to Wisdom discussion is still going on from 1:30 to 2:30 in the afternoon. And I might say that I know Reverend June said, yes, we need money. Yes, we do. You know, inflation has hit us just like everybody else. The heat's going up, the electricity's going up, everything's going up. So don't forget us when you make out your envelopes. Don't forget us when you're sitting at home thinking, oh, got this little extra money coming in. It's a little bit extra our way too. Let's see, there was one other thing. Podcast. Don't forget our podcast. Just go out there and just take a listen to a couple of our episodes out there. We have 19 episodes, and we have another one sitting there. We're ready to get published here soon. But just, you can go onto the website and just click on that website, that podcast over there, and just listen to it. Third Sunday, we have the Friends and Family after church. We're going to have games and
The 10-minute massage.
oh, the massage. Oh, that's this coming July, the third Sunday. We're going to have a masseuse, a qualified and certified masseuse in here. And I'm guessing you're going to be able to get 10-minute massages. So I'd say, for $15, you can get a 10-minute massage. I'm looking forward to that. I have not gotten a massage yet in my life. So I'm gonna do it this one time at least. All right, so We have come to the end today of our ceremony. So if you would just put your feet flat on the floor, take a nice cleansing breath. And just know that this service was blessed today. And we have all of the different pages out of the Saints of Mind that we can refer back to. And we just give thanks for this time that we've had together. We give thanks for Reverend June for bringing this service to us, for bringing the readings, all of the things that she has brought to us in this service today. It's opened and expanded our mind, and I just give thanks. And if you're in agreement with me, you can just say with me, and so it is, and so I let it be. Amen. And amen. And that's today's service, and we're going to have pull the camera up so we can visit with the folks that are out there on Zoom. Thank you, and thank you for being with us.